schedule, so I would like to ask you all take your seats so we can begin. Wladimir Klitschko, distinguished community leaders, ladies and gentlemen. What started over 2 months ago as a peaceful demonstration protesting Viktor Yanukovych's abrupt decision to end negotiations to join the European Union and to turn to Russia to help it pay off its crippling debt, the Euro Maidan has transformed into a revolution of dignity. Today, the people of Ukraine are taking the destiny of their nation and their own destinies into their hands. They have resolutely rejected Russia's corrupt and brutal proxy regime of Viktor Yanukovych. This display of hundreds of thousands of peaceful Ukrainian demonstrators has been met with state-sanctioned killings, kidnappings, violence, and intimidation of media outlets, civic leaders, and even religious establishments, the likes of which Ukraine has not seen in its modern-day history. Yet, in the face of all these challenges, Ukrainians stand courageous. They stand together, and the Ukrainian Congress Committee of America and the entire Ukrainian American community stand with them. The UCCA is an umbrella organization which since 1940 has been representing over 1 million Americans of Ukrainian descent. We've been at the forefront, working continuously with the U.S. Congress, specifically the Congressional Ukrainian Caucus, initiating legislation, including House Resolution 447 and Senate Resolution 319. Through our member organization, we have donated and sent humanitarian aid to our brethren on the Maidan, and through our branches, we have been effective in organizing demonstrations in cities throughout the United States and meeting with our local representatives, all in the hopes of effecting resolute action by the U.S. government. The U.S., as a beacon of democracy, has a moral responsibility to take decisive action to hold Viktor Yanukovych and his regime criminally responsible for their actions. Therefore, the UCCA calls on the United States to continue targeted sanctions, both visa restrictions and freezing of assets, support the Global Accountability Act, freeze Russia's membership application to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development and other international organizations, publicly condemn Russian economic aggression and its consequent violations of the Tripartite Agreement, the CSC Final Act, WTO agreement, and other international treaties and accords as they affect Ukraine's territorial integrity, stability, and political independence. To facilitate all possible unilateral and multilateral economic assistance to Ukraine under the circumstances ensuring its benefit to the Ukrainian people and not to the government functionaries. Increase U.S. government spending on democratic programs and the support of civil society in Ukraine, and to provide immediate emergency supplemental funding to counter the regime's efforts to block the public's access to information. In sum, the UCCA calls on the U.S. government to demonstrate international leadership in supporting the people of Ukraine and their dream for a truly independent nation. Today, we are honored to host a person who needs no introductions. Ukrainian world heavyweight champion Wladimir Klitschko has long been familiar to the Ukrainian community. We have been rooting for him since he stepped on the world stage back in Atlanta at the Olympics in 1996, where he won the gold medal in the super heavyweight division. He has continued his boxing and winning streak as a professional boxer, but his impressive career does not stop in the ring. He is also a fighter for underprivileged children, and now a fighter for democracy in his homeland, Ukraine. He comes to us today to share his thoughts, provide some insight, and perhaps to even impart some recommendations on how we as Americans, as we members of the Ukrainian American community, can assist our brethren in Ukraine who are fighting for their human rights and for democracy. I know that we're excited that Wladimir is here with us, but before I ask him to take the microphone, I'd just like to explain a few rules of the game. Following his remarks, we will have one other speaker, and then time for brief time for a few questions or comments. Unfortunately, because our time is limited, I would ask those posing questions to have their questions be very concise, and the comments to be no longer than 1 minute, so it will give Wladimir a chance to respond to as many questions as possible. So now, without further ado, please welcome Wladimir Klitschko.
So just want to tell that I'm not a politician. politician here. My name is Wladimir Klitschko Evro. Many times people really think that I'm Italian, and I'm not. So I just want to say thank you very much that you're here present and that you found time to listen to me, maybe very short stories that I want to share with you. And I know how much you guys are supporting of your mother country, Ukraine. That a lot of you sending funds, sending clothes, sending good thoughts, and supporting in the way that you could. And I know that you have relatives in Ukraine that are doing the same job. And you know what? All of us were representing the majority of the Ukrainians that are not in the politics. It started almost 3 months ago from the turn of pro-Western and European association that was promised by President Yanukovych for the past 3 years. And then unfortunately, and really sad, that we turned to the other direction. And not in the direction of democracy, that are really willing, and that's the desire that all of the demonstrants in Ukraine having right now. We are there not because of the association with Europe, only because of the association with Europe, and have European reforms or pro-Western reforms, where there's no corruption, because Ukraine, unfortunately, but Ukraine is #1 corruption country in Europe, and out of 179 countries, if I'm not wrong with the number, out of the most corrupt countries, Ukraine is number 174, next to Somalia. That is very sad. And today, all the activists that are Maidan, Euro Maidan, in all different corners of our country, that we love so much, are demonstrating against the regime that we have today. It's not anymore about the association as it started, but since we got people in the custody, we got people tortured, missed, or even killed. Over 1,700 Ukrainians went through this. It's very, very, very sad. But it also shows how much desire we have, considering that it's really, really cold, freezing cold on Maidan. We have by -25°C. We're on both sides, on the sides of the police that are standing there, and the sides of the demonstrants, that are not really having enough power to stand, and freezing and getting sick, and as I mentioned before, getting killed even, unfortunately, on the side of the demonstrants. Over 40,000 legal weapons in the city of Kyiv we have in the hands of Kyivlan, but none of them shot once. Just think about it. None of them. How much desire we have for democracy and freedom without violence to demonstrate against this regime that we have in Ukraine, this dictatorship that we have in Ukraine, and show this will and desire. We show the world that we're a great nation, that we're a smart nation, and we will fight for our right in our country, and the democracy in our country, as much as it takes, until we eventually, and I'm more than sure, we eventually gonna reach our goal. Because good always wins over the bad. I, as a Ukrainian, as all of us, certainly feel responsible for what is going on in the country. And I hope that we, Ukrainians, either outside of the country or inside of the country, do anything and everything that is in our power to make this peaceful movement successful. Unfortunately, but the situation can be changed in every blink of an eye. There's a lot of negotiation between the opposition and the president, and both sides cross the line of no return. And now we have to do anything and everything that is in our power to stop the violence, to stop the killing of our people, And we definitely want to have new government, new president, a new country that we all were fighting for it, working for it. And it's a great line that I also want to repeat. Don't ask what you can, what to expect from the country, what the country can do for you, but what you can do for the country. Even when you got here together today, you already showed your will to support. Just don't give it up and keep doing it. And I'm more sure we'll eventually reach the goal that we're all looking forward to. I've been on Maidan and I've seen people, without even knowing each other, how much support and love they give to each other. When the police was trying to clean up the place and clean up Maidan, I've seen people and their relationship to each other. It's like one spirit, one united spirit that helps us to be stronger. Even if on one side we don't have much weapons, we don't have power that the government has. We don't have much money that the government has, but we have will and desire. And we're 45 million. And this is the greatest power that we have. We have love for each other, and we're one country and one folk that cannot be divided by the politicians. No way. I've seen titushki that unfortunately working now without being on police, without being afraid to be captured. But you have the front line, the police, hunting the journalists, beating up activists, and right behind them, titushki coming up with the baseball bats and doing their job. It's painful to see how much they can do and how violent they can get for money. Unfortunately, but like in any big family, we have bad kids. I just wish that on both sides we will always find peace. And I wish that politicians that are in power and governing our country today will do anything and everything to stop the violence. And the only solution, as I said, because there's no return and people will not go out of Maidan unless resign of the current parliament and new elections, and resign of the current president and new elections for the presidency. And I'm sure we're going to get it what we want. My monologue can go forever, and I'm probably going to ask you for, raise your hand, I can hear very well, ask the question and I will try to give you a clear answer. Please, lady, right there. If you don't mind, the lady goes first.
Hello, I'm Natalie and I'm just 1 week from Maidan, just flew from here. So I'm going to ask very direct questions because I've seen so many people somewhere there. I'm not going to ask about the plan because it's clear that opposition leaders don't have a clear plan. I'm not going to ask about Единый кандидат because it's clear to everybody that you did not reach an agreement and there will be no Единый кандидат. So I will ask, what is your understanding? Who are the major donors of the party of your brother? Because the majority of parties in Ukraine, they are sponsored by oligarchs. This is question number 1. And question number 2, what is the plan of your brother's party in case of external intervention? Because the risk of external intervention is now very, very high. Thank you.
Very, very political questions. But you know what? You can trust whatever I say here because I'm not a politician. And I tell you something, Vitaly has founded party Udar. And nobody else put his name as the name of the party. So you can imagine where Udar comes from Vitaly. And whatever he did in the past, he was always thinking what he can do better for the people of Ukraine and better for the country. I can support my brother only if I really trust him. There definitely, as Amy, to get straight to your question, there definitely needs to be supported financially in different other ways. Any political party that either is in the United States or in Ukraine. And I'm not going to go through the names. Of course, I know, as a matter of fact, that my brother, and I can speak for him, put his own money to the party, put his own time to the party. And trust me, he can have easy life. He can chill on the beach, play with the kids, and live simple life, so to say. But no, he chose this fight, the most difficult fight of his life. And I tell you, this is not a boxing match, where you can get bloody nose or black eye. In the politics, you can get the oxygen, the food, as we know from the past, or bullet in the head. And it's something that you not choose for free, like because you like it. Either you have desire and you really believe from the bottom of your heart, or you don't. And that's why I do support my brother in any way, including financially, for his desire that he sees, and he has a lot of people that are also supporting him. The second part of the question was?
External intervention. What is the plan in case it happens?
Well, I just, as a person that has his own opinion, external, there are a lot of talks about Russia trying to get influence on Ukraine, and how do you see that? I'll be open and honest to you. Russia and Ukraine are brothers. We have mutual history. There's some great things for the Russian side, there's some great things for the Ukrainian side. And politicians are trying to divide two folds and trying to put something negative. But I can compare it to my brother and I. We have different, we're two personalities. We have different characters, we have different views. Now I want to go to politics, I don't want to go to the politics, I want to do some other stuff. I'm an athlete, I'm not married yet, want to have kids. He hasn't. So we are different, but it doesn't mean we're bad, and each of us has to choose the way how I want to do my life, see my life, and what I want to do in my life. And he cannot get any influence on me, only support. Of course we will have a relationship, and we had a relation to Russia, an economical relationship, a political relationship. They're our neighbors, and we're going to have it. Same as with Europe. And of course you cannot have influence on the Ukraine, how the Ukrainian people and what the Ukrainian people can see themselves and want to see themselves. And looking forward to the European reforms, you cannot stop us from doing it. And it's wrong. And I want to say that no matter what is going to happen, or how the situation is going to develop, you also said there is no plan. Honestly to you, there are people, and we're playing from 1 minute to the other, because on both sides, the plans are changing, and there is nothing particular. You just react to the situation that is happening, because nobody was playing what is going on in Ukraine 3 months ago. Nobody would even think that something like that could happen. Nobody. That's why I hope, no matter which plans are going to go there, that they will end up with no violence and no more Ukrainian sisters and brothers getting killed.
Wladimir can be with us, and then he was asking if we could all just go outside quickly for a flash mob just in front of the Ukraine National Home. But we do have one other speaker after, and I would ask you if that was okay to please, we'll take one more question, And then I'll ask everybody to go outside for a few minutes. We'll say our goodbyes, and I would ask you to come back because we still would like to continue our community events because we do have a lot still to discuss. Go on.
Wladimir, thank you for coming to New York. Welcome. What we can do here is we can't pick the people that are going to be in politics, but we can get the information out. Would you be willing to lend your celebrity to help attract other celebrities to help get the word out? There are people in the room here. There are people in the room here that have organized Digital Maidan. There are 10 million Twitter followers in the world. Celebrities impact that population, and using that platform to communicate the reality and the truth of what's going on is very vital. Can we ask for your commitment to help us organize celebrities with the community organizers?
The report, it's not just about willing to help or being part of it. I've been part of it already, and I'm very thankful to, I don't want to put it to myself, but I'm very thankful that Quincy Jones, Klaus Meine from Scorpions, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Josh Clooney, they made their statements and put it online as a video message. Because social media, that's the only source in Ukraine of free media we have. Because any other media is not free. Any other media has been told what to write and how to show what is going on in Ukraine. So I also want to tell you that my visit here to New York, not because of the yesterday's Super Bowl. I've never been to the Super Bowl. It's really amazing that. But it's about the media that is here in New York during these times that I have used yesterday, that I have used until we met. And that's about to spread the word. Because without attention from the world, we cannot put pressure on the current government. Without people knowing what's going on in Ukraine, and unfortunately, Ukraine was, as a headline, a lot of news in a negative way of what's going on. So I'm very happy that we're on the same page, and I totally agree with you, and I'm going to continue to work on what I've been working for these past months, because I feel that just to be here in Ukraine, it's great to be on the barricades, it's great to be with people, but it's important to get outside, it's important to report, it's important to speak and meet people, and that's why I will continue to do that. Thank you.
Before we let Wladimir go, I'd just like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank him for joining us today. I know he's got an extremely busy schedule, and I'm sure nobody will object if I speak on behalf of everybody gathered here today, that we express our sincere gratitude for him coming here. We wish him much luck, fortitude, and all of God's blessings, and we ask him to please convey our greetings to his brother and let him know that we stand united for a bright, democratic, European, Ukrainian future. And I would please ask if we would go downstairs for a quick flash mob in front of the Ukrainian National Home, and I would ask you please to return, because we do have another speaker, like I said, and we would like to continue our discussion on how we as a Ukrainian community can help Ukraine. Thank you.
Very short before we're going to get to the street, it's going to be very loud. I just want to say thank you very much for your attention. And I cannot make these words. Slava Ukraini!
Нас віддав, дівчата, ми так не встигнемо ні на що. Ви виходьте, робіть флешмоб, а не кожен за себе. Шановні, у нас 5 хвилин, нас віддав через 7 хвилин.
Ні слава, ні воля. И, конечно же, основная цель – это иметь демократическое государство.
Некоторые говорят, что лидеры оппозиции показывали идеальный контроль над тем, что происходит. Что вы думаете об этом? Возможно удержать
Ситуация очень сложная и очень критическая. И такого плана нет ни с одной стороны, ни с другой стороны. И я надеюсь, что бы ни происходило, еще раз, важно для того, чтобы оппозиция также работала с людьми вместе против того, что сегодня происходит в стране. У нас сегодня в стране происходит ужасно. У нас люди проходят через пытки, убивают людей, пропадают люди, сидят люди в тюрьме. Люди, которые выражают свое мнение открыто и напрямую. Поэтому я хочу, чтобы наша страна жила в европейском форме европейском государстве. Там, где демократия, с уважением к демократии, с правам человека, с уважением, к свободной прессе, с уважением, а не так, как у нас сегодня это есть.
Спасибо. Собираетесь сейчас всего лучше. Гордість держави Україна!